Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it. And I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, yeah,
to appreciate all that is vacant. It's just for the taking. If you make up your mind, you can take it. I'm never complacent. I would work in a mansion or basement. Yeah, there's no replacement for persistence. It's a patience. Yeah, in this life, I wanna be soaring to feel sun inside when it's pouring, and I'll fight till anxiety is foreign. I'm so sick of my mind's extortion.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, 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 I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great.
All right, let's see if we can continue this wild Sunday of racing as we come to you live on iRacing from Dover Motor Speedway as we get you ready for round number 12 of the Sim500 811 NC811.org Grand National Series. It is round number 12, as I mentioned, as we continue our stretch into the spring and going into summer, and we go racing at this 1 mile monster here in Delaware. I am the captain. We appreciate you joining us tonight. Of course, our iRacing default weather in play here at Dover tonight. 1 mile track presented by NC811.org. 140 laps of racing coming up here this evening as we get ready to go qualifying here in just a couple of minutes. Let's take a look at the point standings as we enter tonight's race. Mojica, of course, leads by 46 points over Bob Gillenwater, who's up to second now. Chad Coleman, who had a rough race last week. At Talladega, he's third now in points. Stephen Marinick and Scott Simley end up being your top five in the points. Doy Woods, Tyler Dalton, Eric Arnold, Mike Kelly, Kevin DeBrown in the top 10. Of course, here in the Grand National Series, it is the top 16 that make the points for the playoffs, which will be coming up here in just a few weeks. And right now, the 16th position is Justin Fuller, and that's a name that you're going to hear a lot of tonight in the race, and I'll explain here in just a couple of minutes. You see Jatina, Branch, Radford, Hudson, Hollyfield right there on the edge, all the way down to Kevin Stone, who's in the 25th position. So, after last week's wildness at Talladega, two fantastic races, two last lap passes, we come over here to Dover, this 1 mile concrete track, and we have got a lot of great racing here in store. But right now, we're going to jump down onto the track because, thankfully, this is the one week that you really don't have to worry about me running late for anything, because I do get some days off here in the next couple of days. So I'm here tonight. Tomorrow night, I'll be on time. Tuesday night, I'll be on time. I feel bad for Friday night because, well, they got a surprise last week, or this coming week, but as Casey knows. But It's enough about that, and let's go on to tonight as qualifying will begin now from this 1 mile track. Single groove racing for the most part until this track gets some rubber laid down on it. Who's going to be the first one out on track? Looks like Tommy Ryan in the 99 here. Close to his home track. 24 degrees of banking in the corners, 9 degrees of banking in the straights. And you see him go all the way to the top here, tries to get the run off the corner and into the straightaway here. And it looks like this is going to be more of a throwaway lap for the 99. I see Wesley Donaldson in purple right now. Again, purple means you're looking pretty good. If you're in green, that means you're faster. If you're in yellow, that means you're actually not as fast as your previous lap or whatnot. As we ride on board with Tommy, as he lays down what you could call his throwaway lap here. As Donaldson, 24:02 right now. Doy Woods, Tommy Ryan, your top 3. As we'll see others cross this. Oh, don't hit that wall. That'll take that lap away. As Mojica goes to the top with a 23:68. You see a lot of rubber already laid down on the track. As this 811 car comes off turn 4, Tommy looks pretty good here. 23:73 goes P2 on the board. As Bob Gillenwater 4th right now. Ron Holyfield in the top 5. Donnie Leah is coming out on pit road right now. Still got a few cars yet to throw a qualifying lap down. Let's go to Mr. Qualifying here. Tyler Dalton in the 19. Does a great job racking up those pole awards, seems like every single week. Joey goes P5. Good lap for him, 23:82. Seeing a lot of purple here. Is Calantoni going to go to the top? He goes second with a 73. What about Simley? Good lap there with a 76. And Tyler's aborting. Look how you got too close to the outside wall, maybe? Let's say he's pretty slow going into turn 1 here, so... And according to my screen, Tyler's already run through, coming up on lap 3 here, so he might not get a lap completed, which would be kind of an upset here. Tyler not used to starting towards the back here. See if Tyler pops up on the screen. He does not, so Tyler has run his laps. And kind of a shocker tonight, that 19 will start somewhere in the 20 to 25 range. Kind of a lighter field tonight, if there's any kind of benefit to where he will start. But he's going to have to work his way up here through the field. Anybody else? Let's see who else is out here on track right now. How about Chad Coleman, 3rd in points? Here's the Georgia driver. The Iron Man of the series. As Chad, 24:10 right now, 16th out of 17 who have run a lap, but I think that was more of a throwaway lap. He misses the bottom right there. That's going to kill his time. The reason why they call this track a monster, the high banks and fast speeds around this 1 mile concrete. As Coleman's second lap jumps to 13th, so not a good lap at all for him. Now, this guy right here is one to keep an eye on tonight. Let's see if he can get a lap in. He got close to the wall there. And Fuller did not get a lap in clean. You touch the wall in iRacing, and your lap is disqualified, basically, for that particular lap. And I shouldn't say if you get the wall. It's if you get any kind of an incident recording. So it's 0x or a 2x or a 4x, as they call it in racing on iRacing. If you get anything like that showing up on your screen, your lap is null and void at that point. So, of course, we're qualifying right now for the Pole Award, which is presented by 811. Know it's below. Call before you dig, and it will be Pedro Mojica on the pole as he continues to be the dominant driver here in this Grand National Series. Cars will get a quick minute warm-up here as Joey's going into his meeting time right now with the series. Should mention, coming up here May 17th on Wednesdays, you will be able to be a part of a truck series, the Trans Service Truck Series. Of course, Glenn Campbell, a sponsor of that series, again this coming season. So looking forward to seeing those races coming up Wednesday nights. The Trans Service Truck Series. If you're interested in running in that, you can go to the website sim500.com and get signed up and be a part of that. All right, so now that Joey's done with his quick in-race meeting, let's talk with the driver of the 58 car, going to be the pole sitter tonight in that team name channel, and that being Pedro Mojica. And Pedro, once again, man, looking pretty dominant. Nice qualifying lap. I think this race is going to be a tough one, as we know. Dover, not the easiest track to get around here, and I think we got some pretty good competition here tonight, too.
Yeah, Dover is one of those tracks. It's definitely a driver's track, which makes it fun. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this race goes. Early in practice, felt like we had a pretty good job keeping the wear pretty even front to back, but as the track rubbered in, I think the track might be trending towards being looser, so we'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Yeah, and one thing I've kind of noticed just talking to people, I think with the green racetrack you had early in the run, I think it was causing the splitter to slam the track getting into the corner. Were you feeling that? And you see as the rubber lays down, this track gets hotter, that might kind of fade away a little bit with the slower speeds.
Yeah, for sure. My biggest, the turn 3 bump's probably the worst. It
Yeah.
seems like the splitter slams there and it just shoots it up the track. So even in qualifying, it still was there. But yeah, I think with the slower pace, it'll definitely help that out a little bit.
Absolutely, man. Well, great job on the pole tonight in the 811 Call Before You Dig pole award and the Trans Service Chevrolet there. And best of luck here in the Monster.
All right, I appreciate it.
All right, buddy. Pedro Mojica on the pole tonight once again as he looks to continue his season here of winning in Sim500 in the Grand National Series. We move him down to team name. There he goes. All right, race information. This is the part I've been wanting to show you, and I've kind of been patient with it. 140 laps, 3 sets of tires, 100% fuel. Tire wear going to play a role, but look down there in the previous winners. Daniel Falkingham last year, and then Justin Fuller, David Comstock, Justin Fuller, Justin Fuller. So, Justin Fuller is going to be somebody I think Pedro's going to have to beat tonight when it's all over with. So, I don't know what gives that away, but something tells me something here. So, should be interesting as we get ready for the 140 laps of racing. Pace Truck is in on one of the toughest pit roads in all of racing, including iRacing. We go green from the Monster with Calatoni getting a real good start. Maybe too good. Our cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook and in the iRacing forums. They are at TrackCams22.com. About to wait and see if iRacing posts the 84 for that move. I only say that because, I mean, usually the leader has to be the first one to the start-finish line here. Chad Coleman did not make the start. Interesting. Not sure what's wrong with the 38 here. Back here. There's Tyler Dalton already starting to work his way up through the field. The 23 of Charles Van Schaik there on the outside. Very hard to complete passes here at this track. A track that you have to use all of it to complete a pass. You're going to see the rubber lay down here really quickly. It's a track that you either hate or you love. If you're somebody like Jimmy Johnson, you loved it. If you're somebody not like Jimmy Johnson, you probably hated it. I personally liked the track. A lot of fun. Oh, and you see Fuller. I mean, he scraped a little bit of the wall back there, it looks like.
Oh, I gave you as much room as I could. There's a wall there.
Yeah, it was Jeff Ryan in the 20 car. That scraped it up just a little bit. The one thing I've learned from racing here at this track is you want to put this car right down on what is the invisible white line. And what I mean by that is basically where that crack is from the concrete down to the asphalt. You want to, as the term has been coined in this league, you want to Bob Ross that line. There's, for some reason, a very small advantage on grip right down against that seam, if you will. And you're going to see cars run right down there all the way around the corner. You're going to see some cars run the diamond. But either way, this track will eat up tires. Back here, car making its debut. Hello, that 18 car. That is Dayton Taylor. Dayton in that, I think it's Devotion number 18. I could be wrong by that. I was trying to read the sponsorship there as the car goes 160 mile an hour. But he makes the pass over on the 14 and Joey Jatina. So Joey falls back a spot. Bob Gillenwater right there with him. So Calantoni obviously did not get penalized, but he has a 1 second lead over Pedro Mojica. Right now, as Pedro just lets him go out there and run his tires. That's one thing Pedro's really good at, is taking care of his stuff as we ride with Jimmy Coleman here in the 54. See Hudson, Jatina sliding up the track just a little bit. Coleman just being very patient. Letting the track come to him here. 10 laps in already. There's the Talking Giants podcast number 84. Mr. Corman and Mr. Pennick watching the broadcast so far this evening. Appreciate the two of you. And, of course, the others that have joined us here on this Sunday evening after watching a pretty wild race there today at Kansas in the Cup Series. I saw a little bit of fisticuffs at the end of it. Wesley Donaldson underneath, or at least battling with Scott Simley, I should say. Now, of course, the one thing about concrete tracks, these tracks are far from the smoothest in iRacing. And even in racing in general. Because, of course, concrete, you have those expansion joints, as they are called, in the track. So if you ever go over a bridge that's concrete, you always notice there's those bumps as you hit each line in the track or in the road. Those are the expansion joints in concrete. So think about now going 160 mile an hour over a bunch of expansion joints. That's why you see this car never being smooth on the track. Not the smoothest objects in the world when it comes to traveling on concrete. Not the smoothest pavement, I should say. Now, why do you use concrete? Great question. So, you get tracks like Martinsville, has concreted corners. Bristol, concrete surface. Dover, concrete surface. The reason for that is concrete doesn't tear up as much as asphalt does. And one of the things about Martinsville, and the reason why you see concrete corners in that track, is because the way that these cars are, how heavy they are, going through the corner and the weight and the horsepower of these cars and stuff, it will actually tear the track apart. So that's why they put concrete there, because it's more of a solid item that the cars can run on. So that's why you see Dover like this, been like this since 1995 with the concrete. And Calantoni's led all 15 laps here so far. Mojica only 7/10 back. Tommy Ryan right there in third. E.J. O'Rourke right there in the fourth position. Scott Simley top 5 in right now. As the field gets spread out after, like I said last week, was a pretty wild Talladega race, needless to say. 18 damage on the rear. Not sure what happened to him. Chad Coleman finally makes the appearance on pit road. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be 15 laps down. Chad's just going to go out there and run as many laps as he can and just get whatever track position he can, because right now, third in points, he is going to take a hit tonight. Justin Fuller continuing to make moves as he's up to the 12th position from the 21st starting position. Fuller trying to get around Jatina. Gets to run off the corner. Now, the one thing you heard me and Pedro talk about a little bit is the car bottoming out, basically entering the corners and dragging the splitter. So want to show this a little bit. Let's do, you know what, Pedro's far enough back from Calantoni. So let's go, I'm going to go to the rear chase camera here, and I want to show you the front end of Pedro's car here. So watch his front end here. That's the splitter down there at the bottom of the car. Okay, and remember I talked about the porpoising of this car on the track. As Coleman comes back to pit road. So watch in 3 here. Bang, 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 bang. That front end just bangs onto the track, and what it's doing, it's causing the wheel. Basically what it's doing is, think about your car if you're going over a railroad track in a very low sitting car, and how the bottom of the car will scrape and your tires are almost off the ground because of it. That's basically what the front end does, and it causes the car to push up the track. Yeah, it's really bad right there in turn 3 because of the bumps. As Coleman, not sure what's going on there at the 38, back on pit road. I wonder if he's having some kind of hardware issue or something tonight. Could be not feeling good. There could be a lot of factors in play here. Bob Gillenwater getting by Taylor. And I'm wondering whether the 18 got that damage. Usually if one car looks like that, the car that hit him looks worse in the front. As Coleman looks like he's going to work his way back off pit road. I'm trying to look up the track here and see if I see anybody with damage. And you know who I see here? Right there, that 93 car. Kevin DeBrown there, you see that crease in the hood. You wonder if that's where the contact came from. So I don't see anybody else with nose damage. So Kevin DeBrown might have been the one that you could say got in to the 18. A little howdy doody. Welcome to the league, sir. So Fuller got by Jatina now, trying to get around Taylor for 10th. Make that 9th. And you can see the lap time starting to fall off here. 1.3 seconds already. And of course, tonight a doubleheader of racing for the Grand National Series. We'll be here tonight, or we're here tonight, I should say. And then coming up tomorrow night, the 811 Cup Series races at Dover. So come and join us. If you're here right now, talk about it, share with some friends, talk about how you either like the broadcaster or absolutely hate the broadcaster and want your friend to hear it. You want your friend to hear it because he stinks that bad. We've all been in that book. I'll leave it up to you how you determine that one. So Tyler Dalton's slowly been up here through the field. And Wesley Donaldson with some issues. Looks like he's blinking. I thought maybe he was off the track or something. He fell down the board. But it's more of a blinking issue. Looks like he's okay now as Fuller gets to his inside. As the 51 Tour continues up to 6th. You wonder how tight these cars are moving right now around the track. See a lot of people scraping the wall, entering the corner, trying to get the widest approach they can entering the corner. I mean, right there you see the tire difference on the 38 just goes right on by Steve Ritter in the 16. Up front, it has gotten to the point where here comes Pedro, Mr. Long Run, if you will. He let Calantoni run off there and lead the first 30 laps, and now the 58 said, all right, son, time to give me my turn up front. And here he comes. Got it down to 0.3 of a second on the 84. See, one thing that Pedro is doing different, he is getting to that bottom a lot quicker than Anthony is, and that's more because Anthony's more doing a higher entry into the corner. Losing terminology in my head all the way. Where Pedro is doing more of a shallow entry into the corner, just different ways to get to the apex. Look how shallow Pedro enters, and then look how the arch of the 84 is entering the corner. If I'm Anthony and I see Pedro doing that, I might try to emulate that to see if I can stop the run of the 58. Because that little bit of left side from the Owen Camaro over to the left side of that car, I've shared this so many times, that little piece gets in the air, it's clean air. Any kind of air is clean that gets onto that car, it'll allow it to turn. And that's what's allowing Pedro to slowly creep in. As Fuller back here at the 6th position, looking outside, see if he crosses over to 16. Thought about it. All right, as we get closer to the battle for the lead here, let's step away for a quick second. Let's hear from our sponsors, 811, as you're watching the Sim500 Grand National Series on the Captain Esports Network.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are here at Dover. 37 laps in to this NC811.org Grand National Series. And always a reminder, make sure you do call before you dig, as Calantoni has led all 36 laps as Chad Coleman unlaps himself. Now 19 laps down as Calantoni about pulled a William Byron off of 2 there. Great save on his part. Now, George Coleman asked a great question just now on Facebook chat. Now, those over on YouTube were not able to see the question, so I want to read it out loud. He asked, the deeper you go, more tire wear, meaning the deeper you go into the corner. Yes, to answer your question on that standpoint, because your right front takes the most beating at this track because you slide a lot. So the deeper you send that right front into the tire, into the corner, the more air it creates, the hotter it gets, the more wear it gets. So what you're seeing Calantoni and the difference between these two here is watch. Okay, so now Calantoni goes in shallow. That's what protects Pedro from getting that clean air on the left front of that car. But now, as you saw there in the apex, how close. You know what? While we're live here, let me back it up here for a second. Let you see this. So right here is where I'm talking about. Let's go gearbox. As right here, about the 2/3 point, as you might hear Joey Logano talk about in the race. Look at the difference of where Calantoni should be straight up with the 58. But he's up the track about a half a car. That little bit right there gives Pedro momentum off the corner and gives him the air that he needs to that nose and allows him to get the run. I know it sounds so little, but it's a fact. There's Anthony getting in a little bit of lap trouble there with Jeff Ryan, and I didn't see who the other car was. Might have been Kevin Stone. And that's one thing I shared when Pedro and Falkingham would race. The same kind of little thing like that would be the difference. Now, what's the best way to counter that? Obviously, you come in early on the entry, and it takes the pressure off the right front. Now, don't get me wrong. This track eats tires like I eat pizza. I mean, it's bad. So no matter what you do, tires getting eaten up. But how much you preserve that right front and even the right rear and keep the car from sliding and putting wear on it will keep you running better on the track. Uh-oh. Justin Fuller. I'm not sure if this is a planned move here, but he's coming to pit road. As I said, one of the toughest pit roads to get on. You see how it starts over turn 4. You literally have to enter. And I see Fuller with some damage, and he's pulling it off the track here. So Fuller's chances at a 4th win at this track just went bye-bye. Not sure what happened. He got the wall, it looks like, somewhere. Now, the line Calatoni is running here is not a bad line. I mean, I'm totally a fan of the Diamond also here. But if you got a car has done a better job saving tires and looks for the lead, the obvious counter is for you to run the bottom side. Well, right here, Calatoni slid up a little bit. So Calatoni able to hold off Mojica there for a second. And the reason why it's tough to pass and complete a pass like that is you need all the track you can get to complete a pass, or else you lose the momentum, and it allows that outside line to kind of cover itself. But look back here, Tyler Dalton. Joe Hudson is in this battle with Charles Van Schaik and Kevin Brown in front of them. This is back at the 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th positions right here. Oh, and Kevin Stone is gone around and has towed the pit road before a caution could come out. So Kevin saves a caution from being on the track here. And Hudson goes by, takes the position away. Gets a little loose off the corner. Oh, Dalton and Kevin hit each other a little bit. Very easy for that bottom car to get a little tight and push up into the other. We go back to the front. Now, Jeff Ryan behind him did come to pit road. He has fresh tires right now on this car. So, now we're getting into a very interesting point of this race. Because I talked about the right front tire taking a beating. A lot of cars have not gone this far on a run, so there's no telling how far this right front can go. And it does give you a couple of warning messages, but not many, that you are wearing out. And you do not want that right front tire to blow on you. So the question here is, do you one-stop this race, or do you make a two-stopper? So in order to make it a one-stop race, you got to go 20 more laps on these tires and get to that lap 70 mark. And I think if you've taken care of the car, you can do it. However, a two-stopper, you probably want to get to pit road now to get tires so that you can come back at about 150 or 100 and go 50-50-50. And here comes EJ O'Rourke right on cue. The 41 comes to pit road. EJ coming off a little bit of a rough race last night for himself and his Tyler Hill crew at Kansas. Hill was leading the race, and pretty much got taken advantage of, if you will, and got sent to the apron and sent to the back. 35-mile-an-hour pit road on this very tricky one. All right, here we go. Right side tires on the 41. And the 41's going to want this race to stay clean and stay green through the pit stops. Kevin DeBrown on pit road into 93. As we start to see the pit stops right here, 54 laps in. And Calatoni's been able to stretch that lead back out to a half second, so not sure what exactly Anthony's doing different, but it's helping very slightly. And it could be Mojica just waiting now for the pit stop also. And look at that. That's your tire difference right there. By Pedro, by Calatoni. Now, the only bad news to that is EJ's 2 laps down. Now he's 1 lap down, so you can fall very far back with an issue on pit road or even an issue on track from pit stops. So you want this race to stay green. As Wesley Donaldson under attack, Joe Hudson looking low. Hudson slides up the track, brings it back to the bottom. Makes the pass, brings Charles Van Schaik with him. Somebody else having a good run here. How about the 16 of Steve Ritter? On board with him right now. And he moves to the high side because Joey Jattina is going to blow right past him. And I want to move up to Joey here as we watch this pass happen. Let's keep an eye right here to the left. Pit road starts right there. And this track, you are carrying speeds up to 165 mile an hour down to turn 1 and turn 3. So basically, in order to make pit road here and not have an issue, you're almost coming up here to this, what used to be the DuPont Bridge. I'm not sure what it's called now, if it's the Ally Bridge or not. And brake right here and get to the apron. It's not one of those you can go all the way up here and then hang a left right there. So be aware of that. And if you need proof, go watch Matt Kenseth's video. Just type in Matt Kenseth Dover on YouTube. You'll find the video real quickly. So there's your leader. He's led all 60 laps so far. Anthony Calatoni from the outside pole. Mojica's fallen back a little bit. Tommy Ryan third. Scott Simley, Donnie Leah. You know, maybe I said something to spark him last week, because I did say one of these days we're going to talk in victory lane again, or for the first time. And here he is out here just dominating at Dover. So lap 60, here comes Jimmy Coleman. Yeah, these walls do like cars. It's the monster that likes the cars. As Coleman sitting on pit road might have been speeding. Do we have our first speeding penalty? We'll have to keep an eye on that. Tom Dreiling, here comes some cars with fresher tires, going to go by. 32 goes by. There's the 34. That is the same Donnie Leah from the Modifieds. Very good call there, Corman. Also a former Truck Series winner at that That track in Ohio. Mansfield. Yeah, Donnie and I were talking actually off the air a couple weeks ago about his modifieds. Not sure when he's going to get back in the car. He's waiting for the right opportunity. He doesn't just want to jump into a car randomly and hope for the best. He wants to get into some good stuff. Matter of fact, I didn't get a chance. I got to talk to Telder and see how his mod. I think he was watching the mods last night at Berlin. You mentioned Donnie. There he is in the Monster Energy number 29, and that's Supra. And he's going to pass Tommy Ryan for the 4th position. So Tommy, he might be one struggling on the tires. You see how the 99 all of a sudden just falls back. They're trying to get to the 70 lap mark. Wesley Donaldson on pit road. Jimmy Coleman was on pit road for almost a minute and a half. So a tough break there for the 50. Sorry, the 54. As here's Wesley Donaldson on pit road. That's where you got to compliment the 84 and how good of a job he did leading the first half of this race. Now, here's where he's got to be careful. Because when Mojica pits to try to undercut him, if he does, Mojica's going to be way faster, like 2 or 3 seconds. So Calantoni's going to need to get to pit road immediately. There's just not much, there's not enough of a gap there. As Ryan on pit road, 4 tires and fuel. And 14.7 for the Virginia driver. Got to be careful. There's the exit of pit road. Can be tricky if you get on the gas too much when you get cleared. Tyler Dalton coming to pit road. So is Dayton Taylor. And here comes Mojica to pit road. So Calantoni is going to have to pit right here. And he just called himself to pit road as he said to Wortman, hey, I'm coming to pit road. So here comes Pedro. And this is how long and how slow pit road is. As one car missed pit road. Right there is Joe Hudson, who now goes up into the outside wall and hits Kevin Brown and spins. And Calantoni, did he get the pit road quick enough? Caution is out. So this is interesting now. We'll show the replay in a second. Calantoni comes in. So Calantoni did not get to pit road on time because he's calling it right now. All right, so let's show the replay because this is going to mess up a lot of things. Remember, I just talked about the Hudson clearly missed his pit road here. As Gillenwater comes in, there's Doy, and he tries to get up to speed. And remember, he's on older tires here, and zing! To the right it goes into Kevin Brown. And Kevin Brown, obviously not a happy camper. And Calantoni's going to get the worst of this, unfortunately. And here's why. He was at the barrels when pit road, or when the caution came out. He was not on pit road. Now, they have, it sounds like, cleared the penalty for him when it comes to any kind of restart penalty. However, you can't, one thing you can't do when penalties are out on iRacing is cancel the EOL part. So Anthony's going to have to go to the back and restart back there. So he will not be the leader of this race when we go back green. So a tough break for the 84 and even tougher break for the 58 and all those guys who pitted. This is going to definitely bring a conundrum. So let's go back to this caution here. And let's watch. So there's Hudson missing pit road. Always happens to somebody. And he gets back. He's trying to get up through the gears. There's the spinning of the tires. Goes spinning. There's the wreck. Let's hit pause. Let's cut to Calantoni. Here's Anthony coming to pit road. Watch these green lights right here. Of course, they're going to go out of camera. Let's hit stop and change cameras. There we go. That close. Actually, I'm sorry. There's the entry right there. So he's actually, it wasn't as close as I thought. That's the entry to pit road right there. So he is already committed. And I'm hearing about people blowing tires apparently under that caution. So right there's the caution. So it sounds like Tyler Dalton potentially blew a tire. So let's go back to this. So tire blowing. It does happen. It only happens when your tires hit 0. Tyler slows down, and it doesn't look like he's got too bad of an issue there getting into pit road. All right, so this whole party's been mixed up. Let's throw everything into a Yahtzee cup and shuffle and see what we got. And what we got is Scott Simley, now the leader of this race. Donnie Lee second. Let's see what else. Joey Jettina going to be third. Steve Ritter is going to be fourth. And Charles Van Schaik is going to be fifth. You see Calantoni is sixth. And I think the lucky dog is not Pedro because Pedro was still on pit road when the caution came out. So I don't know who got the lucky dog here, unfortunately. Might be Tommy Ryan, as he is 15th. Oh, never mind. Here comes all the wave rounds here, so that'll cycle a lot of people back onto the lead lap, including Mojica, Gillenwater, Joe Hudson, Randy Yoakum. This has been all mixed up now. Maybe Pedro did get the lucky dog because he's already at the back of the pack here. So, let's see. Pace car lights. Cannot see through the ticker. But I think we're going green here, so race got very interesting after the first caution as we come to the green flag, lap 75. Thanks to our good friends at frontstretch.com. I say good friends, my other employer that I got to cover the news for today. It's our chance. Turn it up. Thanks to frontstretch.com. All right, up front, Donnie Lee has taken the lead over Scott Simley. Charles Van Schaik under attack. That's Pedro Mojica. trying to work his way back onto the lead lap. Now, the Turn It Up segment there, presented by FrontStretch.com. You can get highlights of today's Cup Series race, also the F1 race down in Miami, and so much more. All the breaking news, including what driver is going to be in the Fox booth next week, and it'll be the first time I think he's ever been in a broadcast booth, but also a former fan favorite will be in the booth next week. So you can get all that to podcast update and what Noah Gragson and Ross Chastain had to say about each other and what Noah had to say about the other part of the other half of the field. A whole lot of stuff there. FrontStretch.com. You can also check them out on YouTube. So you see Pedro has moved his way up to the second spot in line, however, still 11th as he tries to get around this 29 car. So I'm very intrigued with the tire situation because I heard Tyler Dalton on audio say that his car blew a tire, and I believe he went to lap numbers, I look to my left here, 67. And we went green with more than 67 laps to go. So how are these guys going to take care of their tires to get to the finish of this race? Oh, trouble. One of the 811 cars has gone around. And not sure who that was, but I think it was Randy Oka made it went around, or maybe Jeff Ryan. It was one of the 811 cars, and it was not Tommy Ryan. That brings out the second caution, and that'll help take care of the tires. And it was Randy Oka, by the way. And I think he might have had some friendly fire. A little miscommunication here. Yeah, Randy was... Oh, you know what? I think Tommy thought Randy was going to give him room, and he gave him the old heave. Good job by Randy to lock it down there. Doesn't say anything about calling before you wreck, but you do want to call before you dig. All right, leaders, some leaders coming to pit road here. And the break for the 58, he will be the lucky dog and will get back on the lead lap, I believe. Or did he get around Leah? Let me check here. As a matter of fact, yeah, he's on the lead lap. He got around Donnie Leah before the caution, so he earned his way to the lead lap, and that'll give Bob Gillenwater the Lucky Dog Award. So there goes the 4 on by. And some cars on pit road here to get tires. Got 3 sets to work with here. Calantoni stays out with Simley and Brian Wortman, Mr. 100% tires there, Brian Wortman. Let's reach out to a driver. One that we don't get to talk to. Hey, you watch your mouth. I've won so many races in that truck. I want to talk to Charles here for a second. Charles, you got a copy, buddy?
Yeah.
Hey, man. Yeah, well, hey, let's talk here for a second. Running up here in the 4th position. A little help there with the caution at Dover. Never can go wrong. How's your race going here so far, and what do you need to do to keep yourself up here in the top 5?
Just threw some tires on, so just take care of this set. I got one more set left, and you know, kind of like what I did on the first long run. I just stayed behind Tyler, and when he got under someone, I just followed him. I didn't have to do, just trying to do minimal work until I have to. So that's basically what I'm doing, following around someone that has a similar line and let them do all the dooring and moving people.
Sounds wrong, but I totally understand. So I heard Tyler kind of say in chat over in my headphones that he had a tire go out on him there at the end of that run. Did you have similar issues? One, and two, how were your tires, and what can we do to prevent that the rest of the way here? Still with, what, 55 laps to go?
Yeah, I mean, my tires, I was getting the warnings. I mean, I think my right front was 16 or 17, so
Yeesh.
I probably could have did another 5 laps or so. But, you know, the caution came out, which I was playing, and I was going to run it as long as possible to hope for what happened. I just wish it went a couple more laps longer to get a couple more people caught that laps down, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
All right, my man. Well, hey, great job tonight. Wanted to give you a word. Great job running. By the way, the Man Behind the Goat series, you want to run on Saturday nights. Great job tonight in running fourth, and maybe, just
Charles,
maybe,
we lost you for Discord, just so you know.
in victory lane. And people don't pay attention on Discord, apparently, huh?
Yep.
That's funny. All right, thanks, man.
All right, thanks.
Charles Van Schaik, who apparently has been lost in Discord. Apparently that team is not used to me talking to people, which I think is kind of funny. Actually, what's this? Hey, it's not that he's lost. It's the fact that I stole him from you guys. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Y'all have fun. Oh, Steve Ritter and Scott Simley there in chat. As we come back to the green flag, Donnie Leah, Scott Simley, Anthony Calantoni, Charles Van Schaik, and Steve Ritter, your top 5. First one on tires is going to be Doy Woods. That's 77. Actually, to be back here. Oh, that's speed. Never mind. I'm reading the wrong laps here. Green flag back out. It's going to be Van Schaik, actually, in the 84. Lap 84. I was reading the wrong number. Joe Work going to climb the top side in that personal comfort car, scraping that wall up a little bit more. Oh, Rourke, there's some feel-goods right there. Well, I have a great idea, Aaron. Just simple advice. Easiest advice I'll ever give you. Don't hit the wall. Mojica already up to the 5th position inside of Charles. And up front, Leah and O'Rourke battling it out. All I see is, I see wall flying everywhere. Like, I say pieces of the wall. It's like dust. By Van Schaik goes to 58. Now inside is Scott Simley. As Justin Fuller up there in the outside wall. Arguably the 2 best cars in this race right there side by side. What can new tires do for you? You're seeing it. And Donnie Lee and EJ O'Rourke racing hard up here for the lead. As Mojica clears for 3rd. EJ slides right onto the side of the 29, gets on his right rear there, and almost clears him here. There's the side draft from Donnie into turn 1. And clears him. O'Rourke to the front here on lap 93, so just less than 50 laps to go. Now Mojica looking to get to the inside for 2nd. And Mojica trying to clear. Van Schaik now coming into the picture himself. And move Pedro to the 2nd position. So here come the fresh tires slowly. Now here's the thing. They have 1 set of tires. Most of the field does here. The rest of the field should have 2 sets of tires to work with as we go into the last part of this race. So going to be very interesting to see what takes place here. Scott Simley looks inside of the 84. As you see Doy Woods there look to the top side. Joey Jatina starting to join this battle as the fight is on for the top 5. And up front, Mojica has gone to the lead. Pedro to the front, lap number 95. And could that caution there been the break he needs to get back in this race and go to victory lane yet again? All right, let's step away for a quick second and let's hear from our sponsors. 811 as you're watching Sim500's NC811.org Grand National Series.
If recent storms have caused damage to your property, contact 811 before you begin your cleanup. Buried utilities around uprooted trees can make a bad situation worse if those lines are not located before digging. Electric, natural gas, and internet lines are everywhere, and knowing where they are is the safest way to start any digging project. Call North Carolina 811 by dialing 811 or by using single address ticket on nc811.org or the NC811 app.
All right, back we are, 39 laps to go. As you see, Mojica has pulled away. Wesley Donaldson, unfortunate trip to pit road here. Not sure he's towed himself. Not sure what happened with him and Joe Hudson. Maybe we'll have to see if we can find a replay of that. But you see Charles Van Schaik has moved his way up to the second position now in that 23 car. Donnie Leah and EJ O'Rourke still battling for third now. As you see, Leah's gone back by O'Rourke. And then back behind them, Doy Woods and that Winn-Dixie Ford coming into the picture in that 28. I didn't see anything in red. See, Wesley's coming to pit road here. I wonder if Wesley maybe had some kind of personal issue or something to take care of. Happens. How this race got flipped on its head. Mojica to the lead now. Calantoni back in 10th. And this after Calantoni pretty much led the first half of this race as Doy Woods goes up to the 4th position, passing O'Rourke. Here comes Jatina into the picture. Joey going to mess around and get a top 5 potentially. Going to mention Chad Coleman, by the way, did finally take his car behind the wall back at lap 16. So just to update those who like to cheer on Coleman, and he's going to take a big hit in the points here. Kevin Stone behind the wall. Kevin Brown behind the wall. Justin Fuller's back out on track. He'll gain 2 more spots here in a couple minutes. Otherwise here, you see Doy Woods trying to get around Donnie Leah. Oh, and into the wall goes a couple cars. O'Rourke and Enchitina followed him. Monkey see, monkey do, and monkey slide job. Oh, Dottie got the apron and about wrecked him. Great job by Leah to get out of the gas there because he was pushing right up towards Doy. Oh, and now contact with he and Joey. Never talk crap about a track. You never know what can happen in a race. I always hated Homestead. Now it's one of my favorites. I hated Kansas. And it's become one of my favorites. Even though I still kind of stink at it. I'm working on it. There's the Bossman. Top 5 right now for him. 31 laps to go. Check on Tony back here as he battles with Bob Gillenwater for the 10th position. Tyler Dalton in front of him, unfortunately not having the run he wants tonight. Started in the back and right now sitting as the last car on the lead lap. Nope, I'm sorry, he is 4th car lap down in 15th. One thing I do want to point this out, Charles Van Schaik is not letting Pedro get away. And look at the line that Charles is running. Now this is going to eat his tires up a little bit, but it's a groove at Dover that works. He enters the corner low. This is a big diamond. Enters low, slides it up the track a little bit, and this is actually the smaller diamond. He went wide there in 3 and 4. But what it does is it makes the straightaways longer. See if he does it here. Yeah, there you go. Slides it in, hit those bumps. And then tries to bring it down to the bottom of the track right there to make the straightaway as long as possible. Not sure if he just messed up 3 and 4, maybe that lap, but he's diamonding now the bottom part as he's 1.1 seconds back. As we go back to Joey here, battling EJ for 4th. How about Tom Dreiling in that 32 car having a great run tonight in 6th? I know Tom usually has the iRacer Lounge, I believe, podcast on his car. I see something else here. Is that Sim Mortals? Sim Mortal. One word. As O'Rourke under attack. That right side damage on the 14 after getting the wall. Not letting it stop him. Dives it in there. Oh, Tommy sticks it in there. Whoa! Dive you very much. Great awareness by O'Rourke not to close the door on Tommy. Tommy's got places to go and people to see as Tommy actually runs a lap down in 13th right now. So he's trying to go back up there and get that lap back the hard way. Now, next week, Kansas Speedway here on Sunday night. Looking forward to being a part of that race. At least it is scheduled right now. So we'll be here next Sunday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, or 8:30 Eastern time. from Kansas, and of course Monday night next week from Kansas also. But tomorrow night, Dover for the Cup Series of the 811.org Cup Series. As Tom Dreiling looking underneath of O'Rourke for 5th. Oh, gets a good run off 4 there. O'Rourke tried to shut the door, slid up the track just a little bit there. Ooh, getting close. Almost some contact there. But that's where Tom has a hard time completing that pass. This is where I talked about if you're unable to slide up the track there to finish the position off, you lose your momentum.
Thanks, Randy.
Oh, no contact, and they save it. And Tom's going to go by and see if EJ returns the favor. He sure does. He ain't happy about that move. Here comes Leah. Ritter there behind him. Bob Gillenwater, Scott Simley, your top 10. Tom said, I got places to go and people to see. As Ritter gets to the inside of O'Rourke now. Ritter goes by. You see Gillenwater back there trying to make moves now. So 16 laps to go. Pedro Mejica pulling away to 1.4. Sometimes you just find the luck that you need to go to victory lane tonight. It did not look good at the start as Calantoni led the first half of the race. And a caution comes out right in the middle of green flag pit stops. Calantoni has never been able to recover. Mojica got the lucky dog and took the tires, and here he is up front. And well on his way to another win, which in this case would be number 6, I believe. I'm just counting them right quickly. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then number 6 would be tonight. If he could finish it off, he'd be 6 for 12 in these races this season. He's had rough luck on the Cup side, but 6 on the Busch side, the Grand National side. Green since lap 84 as another car hits the wall. So we're looking at 55 laps on tires here, so should be good to go to the finish unless somebody pushed really hard. Donnie Leah, you see, he was able to get around Tom Dreiling for the 5th position. So Leah, with the older tires, able to jump back into the top 5. You wonder if Tom maybe burned his stuff up a little too much there, battling with the EJ O'Rourke car. 10 laps to go, 1.84 seconds. Mojica leads over Van Schaik. As Gillenwater goes around to 32 now, so I don't know if they necessarily do, but the one thing that is majorly different these cars are from the ARCA car. The ARCA car has the old valence, which is the front end of the car at the bottom. It has what they call a valence, where these cars have a splitter, and that creates a lot more downforce on these cars, though they don't have the most amount of downforce. Like, the trucks actually have more downforce than these cars do. And I think that is part of the reason. And then the other, obviously, the spoiler there. So they're planted more in the track, even though they're not really in the track as much, so to say, as, like, say, a truck or a Cup, well, even the old Cup car. Well, that's just a matter of how much you're, first off, what track. Second off, the amount of how hot the track is. But three comes down to how you're exiting the corner. You can't just go down and mat the car off the corner. You know, if you're running at a track like Iowa, you can't do it. If you're running at a track like Atlanta, the old Atlanta, can't do it. Dover, can't do it. You got to be very precise and very consistent, I guess, would be another word to use. But if you listen, let's go on board with Pedro here. Listen to him. That right there is when he got wide open. He was all the way through that corner. He was leaning into the throttle. It's just a matter of rolling, because what happens is you got this car turned so much. And you got to remember, eventually the front tires grip, right? Because you're pushing tight right here. Car slides up the track. You're cranking the wheel, cranking the wheel, cranking the wheel. Now you got to loosen up the wheel, because the back end will swing around once the front end grips. Creates the looseness. 4 laps to go, Miles. Way to pay attention. As Jatina has caught the back, or I should say Leah has caught Jatina and made the pass for 4th. And Bob Gillenwater coming up behind that 14. Might have a battle for the top 5 here between teammates in Sim500 Mafia. As he comes out turn 4, 2 laps to go. Miles, how you like my internet cutting out on me earlier? Went out on me 3 times. Pedro Mojica comes off turn number 4. He'll see the white flag, final lap for this 58 car. And going to be another dominant win, as he actually rode more behind Calantoni, who's going to end up, looks like, in the 11th position, as Pedro Mojica comes off turn 4 as he continues to bat 50%, wins at Dover, 6 wins in 12 races. And it was not an easy one tonight. Van Schaik ends up 2nd. Doy Woods was catching him, ends up 3rd. Donnie Leah, Joey Jatina holds off Gillenwater for a top 5 position. Sometimes you just gotta have luck, as they say. got the finishing order run across the top of the screen. You can see where everybody finished out. Again, Van Schaik with a great second place run. Donnie Leah gets back to 4th with the older tires. Good run for him. Gillenwater just short of a top 5. Tom Dryland ends up 7th. Steve Ritter, Scott Simley, EJ O'Rourke, and AC Calantoni down there in the 11th position. Going to be a little frustrated probably about that one when it's all said and done. All right, let's talk to at least the top 3 finishers. As we bring up Doy Woods, who continues to have a pretty good run here throughout this season in both the Cup and the Grand National Series. We've been able to talk to you a pretty good amount here the last few weeks here, Doy, and another great run tonight, finishing in the 3rd position after starting out back in 18th. It's a great run for you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. You know, we were struggling getting a car off the trailer, and didn't do no practice, and had to change motors, and just didn't have no time there. But we came alive at the end, just ran out of time, and just got held up by old tires and some other guys, and just lost a lot of time to Pedro. I think I could have ran with him, but you know, woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Let's talk a little bit about the strategy there. Obviously, we had the pit stop and then the caution that comes out right there in the middle of it all and kind of throws everything into a whack. Talk about how that helped you out or hurt you, and what you had to do to make adjustments to get up there.
Well, you know, I was on pit road when that fiasco happened on the front stretch. I hate to see it, but you know, I was able to pit, get 4 tires, and you know, the leaders had to pit, and I was able to get the wave around there, and it put Tyler and a lot of other fast guys a lap down, so I didn't have to worry about them, and it just really opened up the seas for me to have this good run. And a lot of guys that should have pitted, and like Donnie should have pitted. He had the fastest car tonight, but you know, he didn't pit, and we did. So.
Well, it worked out for you, and you end up with a top 3 finish yet again here tonight in that Winn-Dixie Mustang, and send some shout-outs to whoever you'd like to, bud.
Everybody, man. Chad, unfortunate that he had some motor problems, and Pedro, you know, he's winning all the time. Eventually, I'm going to get him, hopefully, but but you know, it is what it is, and those guys make me fast, and I owe a lot to them, and they're great friends, and they got my back, and I got theirs.
Well, great job tonight, man, and congratulations on the top 3, and maybe we'll see you tomorrow night.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. That is Doy Woods, 3rd place finisher here this afternoon at Dover. Congratulations to him. He's one of those guys that just knows how to get around these nostalgic, if you will, maybe that's an interesting word to use, tracks that you see on the old Cup schedule back in its heyday. Let's get him down to team name. There he goes. And let's bring up our 2nd place finisher tonight. One that we spoke with just a little bit ago. He was our only in-race guy we spoke with again in another top 5 finish. So once again, for those who think I jink drivers, no. And let's make sure tomorrow night that Mr. Kevin hears about this. And that's Charles Van Schaik, who finishes in the 2nd position tonight. Charles, congratulations on your P2, man. It looked like for a little bit you fell back to 4th or 5th, and then all of a sudden it was like the car just came alive and you worked your way to 2nd. Was that more of a tire saving type move you made?
No, it was just, you know, I looked down at my overlays, and a couple of guys had older tires. You know, I think Donnie go by, or I got right behind him and let a couple other guys, and then I realized I just had old tires and I had to get around them, because if I just hung back and did what I was doing all race, the guys with fresher tires would pull away, which Pedro eventually did. I waited too long. Pedro is definitely faster than me, but maybe I could have been on his bumper a little bit to give him some pressure, make him make a mistake, but I made a mistake staying behind the cars with the older tires for too long and not being aggressive.
Well, it was a great run, man. Definitely happy for you. The strategies worked out as you started all the way back in the 15th position. Was this something at the end of the night you expected?
I mean, this is my hometown track, favorite
Okay.
track. You know, so I mean, this is one I feel confident that I can you know, pass, high, low, you know, run anywhere on the track. So, I mean, that probably played a little bit into it. But, yeah, it was just kind of just, like I said, when you pulled me up before, just, you know, lay back, let other people do a little bit of the work, follow the holes that are punched through, and just keep going and keep the tires under you.
Well, great job tonight, and send some shout-outs you want.
Yeah, I mean, you guys doing the broadcasts, it's actually, even the ones I don't run, I'm watching pretty regularly. You know, the guys over at Sim500, Joey and Tyler and those guys, Randy, my guys over at GOAT, Sammy, Aaron, Christoph. But other than that, you know, just great run at Dover. What was it? Only two cautions for 8 laps. That's impressive. So kudos to everyone.
Yeah, great job by you and the league, like you said, and one of them coming during green flag pit stops on a mistake on a missed pit stall, so, or missed pit road, so which usually accounts for one of a caution every race at Dover. So great job tonight, man, and we will talk tomorrow night.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Charles Van Schaik, the second place finisher tonight. And I know it's the best finish that I've seen from him on our side of things. Of course, he runs most nights, if not every night, with GOAT, which is his series. And, of course, here at Sim500, I don't... Oh, yeah, your turn one here is... Okay, there we go. I was trying to remember what channel he came from. All right, time to talk to the man of the hour again. And that is Mojica, who goes to victory lane tonight. Gets win number 6 here in 12 tries. And Pedro, I don't know where to start here, bud. That was not the ordinary Pedro Mojica race. Of course, you started on the pole, and Anthony had I thought, too good of a start, but he got a good start on you, and was able to get the track position, hold the lead, hold you off for the first run of pit stops there, and then kind of had to jump into the luck bank a little bit there and get back on the lead lap and get some tires and worked your way up here, and here you are in victory lane again. A little different way, though.
Yeah, no, for sure, Chris. It was it was a crazy race, I guess, for us. Like, yeah, I mean, the start of the race, you could question it either way, I guess. But yeah, Calantoni got a great jump. Like, he literally was going right as that green came out. So like, he timed it perfect, and I didn't do any favors for myself. I was in second gear actually, and so I didn't get a good launch. But at first I wasn't worried. I was like, oh, you know, I'll save my tires and be okay. But man, then that changed pretty quick. Halfway through that first run, clean air was just stupid. It was just unreal, like how important clean air was. So that was part of the reason why I pitted when I did, because I was trying to pit up a lap before Calantoni and hope that between pitting a lap sooner, potentially having a better entry and exit on pit road, like I could get in front of him a decent amount and then hold him off. But then, yeah, we had that yellow, got caught a lap down. But then, yeah, like you said, got lucky, and yellow came out as we got our lap back the hard way. So that was good for us. And then, yeah, like those guys didn't pit, and a few of us did and got tires, and I mean that was really the difference maker in the end. Like, just drove through them guys with 5-6 lap older, or I guess 10 lap older tires or whatever, and just set sail. So yeah, it was a little bit more of a challenging race. Again, the clean air was just ridiculous, a lot worse than I expected. So I have to put that in the mental, I guess, in the mental notes here, so that we try to make sure we don't screw up the starts so that we lose the lead. So, but yeah, overall, like, yeah, so I'm happy we were able to fight hard and get back in victory lane for the 6th time. So
there you go, man. No, it wasn't easy, but you did your part, and you definitely got the brakes to bounce your way. And I thought it was going to be you and Anthony throughout the night for that race, but yeah, that pit stop changed everything. But 6 for 12. Old 50% batting average, which is pretty solid, and, well, 500, I guess that'd be batting-wise, but send some shouts to whoever you like to, bud.
No, Chris, I appreciate you, Captain Esports, for putting on the broadcast. All the admins at Sim500, I appreciate everything they do. NC811 for sponsoring this series and the Cup Series and everything. You know, I appreciate everything they do for the series. and for the league, and Trans for jumping on board, and Glenn Campbell. Appreciate them, and Tyler Dalton for painting the car for this race, or for this series, and all the guys on Team Name. Appreciate them. We have a lot of fun, and appreciate the family for letting me come and hang out for a little while.
There you go. Well, great job tonight. Congratulations on another win. Let's get you one tomorrow night now.
All right, yeah, that's the plan.
All right, buddy. Pedro Mojica wins tonight here in Dover in the 811 Grand National Series presented by NC811.org. Congratulations to him. And race that was only marred by 2 cautions as mentioned. One of them was a pit road issue where a driver missed pit road and unfortunately spun the tires trying to get back going and brought the caution out there. And then the second caution was simple miscommunication, it looked like, between teammates, unfortunately, when it was all over with. But Pedro Mojica does it again, goes to victory lane here tonight. Shout out to Anthony Calantoni for his dominant effort leading the first half of the race. Obviously deserves more credit than where he finished tonight, so hopefully he'll keep his head up and try again tomorrow night in the Cup Series. So well done in his part. And, of course, big shout-out to 811 for being a part of the series. Make sure you do call before you dig, as always. And if that's for any project that you might or might not have. And, of course, if you're somewhere where there's damage because of storms and that kind of thing, always make sure you're careful if you need to call 811 there also, because you just never know when a wire could be live or anything like that. It's just all for safety and part of the law, too, at the same time. So. All right, we're heading out. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday evening. We will see you tomorrow night at Dover here for the Cup Series, 811.org Cup Series. And a reminder, next week, Kansas Speedway, 8:15 Eastern Time. We will see you back here on the Captain Esports Network. So hopefully you can come and join us for that. And always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!
Searching for greatness in a sea of the dying and shameless, a sea of the aimless. I don't wanna be one of the nameless. I'ma wake up with the mindset that one day I'm gonna make it, and I don't think I'll be fine if I don't break my limitations. Don't try to stop me, I exist to write my own story. I'll make a decision if I want some peace or if I want the glory. Yeah, don't want a life that is complacent or possibly boring. I just want a life that is worth every day exploring.
My whole life I just wanted someone who would notice me. My whole life I just wanted to be somebody to be. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah, I just wanna be great. Yeah.